9 psychological signs he's secretly wondering if you like him too. Have you ever caught someone glancing at you a little too long or acting just a bit differently around you? Sometimes, men can be hard to read when it comes to their feelings, but here's the thing: his actions, even the smallest ones, often reveal what's going on in his mind. If he's secretly wondering whether you like him too, chances are he's dropping subtle psychological hints that are easy to miss if you're not paying attention. Body language, behavior changes, and even the way he talks to you can say so much more than words ever could. These signs are not just random, they're rooted in psychology, showing how human behavior naturally shifts when attraction is at play. In this video, we're diving deep into the 9 psychological signs that a man is curious about your feelings. These aren't your typical "does he like me" clues, these are the subtle, subconscious actions men can't help but do when they're drawn to someone but trying to play it cool. By the end, you'll be able to spot the difference between genuine interest and casual friendliness. Are you ready to decode his behavior and uncover the truth? Let's dive into the first sign. 1. He tries to find ways to be around you. Have you noticed that he always seems to coincidentally show up where you are? Maybe he's suddenly taking interest in places or activities you frequent, like joining a gym class you mentioned or showing up at a coffee shop you love. This is one of the clearest psychological signs of interest. Why? Because when men are attracted to someone, they subconsciously seek proximity. Being around you gives him a chance to observe, interact, and subtly gauge your interest in him. Even if he's not ready to openly admit his feelings, his actions will often betray his curiosity. For example, let's say you told him about a new movie you're excited about, and the next thing you know, he's talking about how he's planning to watch it too. It's not a coincidence, it's a subtle way to align his interests with yours and create opportunities to connect. Pay attention to how often he makes an effort to accidentally bump into you or share experiences. If it feels like he's always in your orbit, it's a sign he's curious about your feelings and wants to spend more time in your presence. But remember, context matters. If his behavior is respectful and not overbearing, it's a genuine sign of interest. If it feels excessive, it's okay to set boundaries. Understanding the difference can help you navigate this situation confidently. 2. He pays close attention to your opinions. One of the most telling psychological signs that he's secretly wondering if you like him is how much attention he pays to your thoughts and opinions. If he remembers small details you've shared, like your favorite coffee order or the movie you've been dying to watch, it's not by accident, it's intentional. Men are naturally more attentive to people they're interested in. If he's curious about your feelings, he'll go out of his way to listen carefully and show that he values your perspective. For example, he might ask for your opinion on things like what outfit looks better, what playlist to listen to, or even seek your advice on personal matters. Here's the kicker: he doesn't just listen, he acts on it. Did you mention your favorite snack in passing? And then he suddenly shows up with it? Or maybe he started quoting something you said during a group conversation, even though you didn't think it was a big deal. These are small but powerful ways he's showing you that your words matter to him. Psychologically, this is a way for him to build a connection and make you feel special. By demonstrating that he values what you say, he's trying to create emotional intimacy and see if you notice his effort. The next time he brings up something you casually mentioned, take note, it's not just good memory. It's a clear sign he's wondering how you feel about him and trying to make you see that he's paying attention in all the right ways. 3. His body language gives him away. Actions speak louder than words, especially when it comes to body language. When a man is secretly wondering if you like him, his body will often give away what he's feeling. Psychology tells us that when someone is attracted to you, their subconscious behaviors shift, even if they don't realize it. For example, he might lean slightly toward you when you're speaking, even in a group setting. This subtle movement indicates that he's engaged and drawn to your presence. Other signs include keeping his feet or body angled toward you, maintaining prolonged eye contact, or mirroring your gestures, like sipping his drink right after you do. Another big giveaway is nervous energy. Does he fidget when you're around, adjust his shirt, play with his watch, or run his fingers through his hair? These small gestures can signal that he's trying to look his best and is hyper-aware of how he's coming across to you. One more telltale sign: when he's near you, he might unconsciously touch his face or neck more often. Research shows that these are self-soothing behaviors people do when they're trying to impress someone or feel nervous around someone they're attracted to. So, if his words don't say much but his body language is screaming, "I like you," you've got your answer. 4. He asks you questions that go beyond small talk. If he's asking questions that dive deeper than surface level topics, it's a major sign he's trying to figure out how you feel about him. When a man is curious about you, he'll want to know more than just the basics, he'll want to understand what makes you tick. Pay attention to the kinds of questions he asks. Does he want to know about your childhood memories, your dreams, or what you're passionate about? These aren't random questions, they're his way of building a connection and creating meaningful conversations that go beyond casual chit-chat. For example, he might ask something like, "What's the most memorable trip you've ever taken?" Or "What's your biggest goal right now?" These open-ended questions give him a chance to learn more about your personality, values, and interests. Here's another clue. He remembers your answers and brings them up later. For instance, if you mentioned a favorite book or a life goal in the past, and he asks about it again, it shows he's genuinely interested and invested in understanding you better. Psychologically, this behavior stems from a desire to create emotional intimacy. He's not just making small talk, he's building a foundation of trust and curiosity to see if the feelings are mutual. 5. He finds excuses to text or call you. When a man is secretly wondering if you like him, he'll look for reasons to stay connected, even if it's just through text or calls. The conversation might start with something casual, like sharing a funny meme or asking for your opinion on something small, but his real goal is to keep the connection alive. Notice how often he initiates contact. Does he text you good morning out of the blue or send you updates about his day? These aren't random, they're his way of subtly testing your interest. Sometimes, he might even ask questions that don't really need answers, like, "What's your favorite pizza topping?" Or "Did you see the game last night?" The content isn't always the point, it's the fact that he's making an effort to talk to you. Psychology shows that people who are interested in someone tend to crave frequent communication, so if he's reaching out consistently, it's a clear sign he's thinking about you and wondering if you're interested in him too. 6. He gets jealous or protective around other guys. Jealousy is one of the clearest psychological signs that a man is wondering if you like him. When he's unsure of your feelings, seeing you interact with other men can trigger protective instincts or subtle jealousy, even if he tries to hide it. For instance, does he suddenly change his tone or behavior when you mention another guy? Maybe he jokes about it, or his body language stiffens slightly. He might ask questions like, "Oh, so who's this guy you're hanging out with?" or casually try to steer the conversation back to him. Sometimes, this protectiveness shows up in subtle ways. For example, if you're at a gathering and another guy is talking to you, he might find an excuse to join the conversation or position himself nearby. It's not about being possessive, it's his subconscious way of keeping himself visible and in your orbit. This behavior stems from evolutionary psychology. Men naturally feel a sense of competition when they're interested in someone and perceive a potential rival. While it's important to note that jealousy should never cross into controlling behavior, these small, harmless signs can be a strong indicator that he's invested in you and cares about your attention. Pay attention to these moments. If he's showing signs of jealousy or stepping in to make his presence known, it's likely because he's wondering how you feel about him and hoping to make a stronger connection. 7. He tries to impress you without being too obvious. When a man secretly wants to know if you like him, he'll often try to impress you in subtle yet noticeable ways. He won't come out and say, "Look how great I am," but his actions will speak for him. For example, has he casually mentioned a recent accomplishment, like a work promotion or a new skill he's been learning? These little humble brags aren't random, they're his way of showing you his value and hoping you'll see him in a positive light. Another common tactic is going the extra mile to help you. Maybe he offers to fix something for you, give you a ride, or lend you something you mentioned needing. These gestures aren't just about being kind, they're his way of showing that he's reliable and capable, traits that are often linked to attraction and romantic interest. Even his appearance might change when he's around you. Does he suddenly dress a little sharper or wear a cologne you complimented? These are small but intentional efforts to grab your attention and make you see him in a more attractive light. Psychologically, this behavior is rooted in the desire to be seen as desirable and capable. He's not outright confessing his feelings, but his actions are saying, "Look, I'm someone worth noticing." 8. He remembers the little things about you. One of the most endearing signs that a man is curious about your feelings is when he remembers the little details you've shared. Maybe you mentioned your favorite childhood movie or a funny story about your pet, and weeks later, he brings it up out of nowhere. This level of attentiveness shows that he's not just listening, he's actively storing information about you because it matters to him. In psychology, this is called emotional attunement. It's when someone pays close attention to another person's likes, dislikes, and feelings because they value that connection deeply. For example, let's say you mentioned a song you love, and the next time you meet, he plays it in the car. Or perhaps you casually mentioned your favorite candy, and he surprises you with it. These aren't coincidences, they're his way of showing that he cares and is paying attention. By remembering these small details, he's also trying to strengthen your bond and see how you respond. If you seem happy or appreciative, it gives him a subtle hint that the feelings might be mutual. This kind of effort goes beyond casual friendship, it's a clear sign he's invested in your happiness and hoping to find out if you feel the same way. 9. He's nervous or awkward around you. Does he sometimes fumble his words, laugh nervously, or seem a little more clumsy when you're around? Nervousness is a classic psychological sign of attraction. When someone is interested in you but unsure of your feelings, their anxiety can manifest in small, awkward behaviors. For example, he might start over-explaining something simple, forget what he was saying mid-sentence, or get flustered when you make eye contact. This nervous energy isn't a bad thing, it's his body's way of reacting to someone he's drawn to. Another common sign is excessive joking or teasing. If he's constantly trying to make you laugh, it could be his way of masking his nerves while still trying to keep you engaged. Men often use humor as a way to build rapport and test the waters of a potential connection. Psychologically, this nervousness stems from the fear of rejection. He wants to make a good impression but doesn't want to come on too strong or say the wrong thing. So, if he seems a little awkward or out of his element around you, take it as a sign that he's genuinely interested in trying his best to navigate his feelings. Conclusion. So there you have it, 9 psychological signs that he's secretly wondering if you like him too. From finding excuses to be around you to remembering the smallest details about your life, these behaviors are often subconscious but incredibly telling. The beauty of these signs is that they're rooted in genuine human behavior. They reveal how people act when they're curious, nervous, and hoping for a connection. If you've noticed some or all of these signs in someone, it's safe to say that he's trying to figure out how you feel. But here's the key, relationships are a two-way street. If you're interested, don't be afraid to send your own subtle signals. A warm smile, a little extra attention, or a lighthearted compliment can go a long way in letting him know the feelings are mutual. And if you're unsure, take your time. Decoding someone's actions can be fun, but the most important thing is building a connection based on trust, respect, and communication. Which of these signs have you noticed in someone? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with a friend who might need a little help decoding someone's behavior. Until next time, take care and keep building those meaningful connections.